The following broadcast is brought to you by the iGolf Sports Network. The Women of Golf show is sponsored by the iGolf Sports Network and Golf Tips magazine. iGolf Sports is a live stream broadcast and media production company providing quality programming designed to attract the golfing enthusiast. And Golf Tips, the game's most in-depth instruction magazine, with insightful reviews on the latest equipment, tips from top teaching professionals, helping you improve your game from tee to green. Good morning, welcome to the Women of Golf, the #1 women's golf show around the world, with host Ted Odorico and Cindy Miller. Join them as they interview some of the best players from the Epson, LPGA and Legends Tour, and so many others helping to elevate women's golf. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ted and Cindy.
I'm Ted Odorico, and right alongside, of course, each and every week is none other than Legends Tour player and LPGA professional Cindy Miller, and we are your hosts here on the Women of Golf. Good morning, Cindy.
Morning, Ted.
And Hall of Famer now, too. I forgot. I got to start adding that in there. You're getting too many accolades.
That's right, baby.
So, yeah. So congratulations, obviously, on that as well. We're always excited to have you back on the show. You were off last week, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on the broadcast. But first, we're going to be joined by our very special guest, Isabella Fierro, now an LPGA Tour player. Once an Epson Tour player, but now LPGA Tour. I'll tell you a little bit more about her in just a second, but if you'd like to watch this week's show or any of the previously aired episodes, you can visit the iGolf Sports YouTube channel, or you can visit Spotify.com, and the audio version is also available on Spreaker.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. So don't forget to subscribe to our channels to get notified as new episodes drop weekly. And if you're looking to step up your game, then become a premium member at golftipsmag.com. We've got 3 membership levels available: silver, gold, or platinum, one designed to fit every budget. And by joining, you will gain access to premium content, such as the latest golf tips from our top 25 instructors, golf news, equipment and product reviews, plus the top travel destinations just in time to book your next buddy trip. In addition, we receive special discounts from our many premium partners. So don't wait. Register today at golftipsmag.com. All right. Our guest this morning is Isabella Fierro from Mexico. And she, as I said, is now an LPGA Tour player. She's 24 years young and joined the Epson Tour in 2023, where she won the Tuscaloosa Classic, I believe it was, in 2023, which was her only professional win on Epson. But she played collegiate golf at Oklahoma State University and said she pursued a career in professional golf because she wants to inspire young women to dream big and that anything is possible no matter their background. Some of her hobbies include working out, kite surfing, and fishing. And she said if she wasn't a professional golfer, that she would be a professional singer. So we may have to get her to belt out a tune while she's here on the show. So on that note, Cindy, let's welcome our special guest this morning, Isabella Fierro.
Morning.
Hi, thanks for having me, guys.
We're so glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
What is a kite surfer?
I mean, honestly, my favorite place in the world is the ocean. It gets my head kind of just distracted from everything. And just kite surfing, it's kind of like one of the things I love to do. Like fishing is definitely one of them. I actually went fishing on the golf course where my parents are yesterday. I just like, it's kind of like a sports fishing. Like I caught them and then release them, but it's just so much fun and it's really peaceful. So definitely gets my mind away from everything.
So when you kite surf, you're attached to a kite?
It's like
Yes.
a surfboard, right?
Yeah, it's like a softboard, and then like you kind of hang on. It's like a little, like it goes on strings, and then it has a big thing, and the tide has to be very low, and then it has to be windy, of course. So where I'm from in Merida, we go to the beach. It's called Progreso, which is like probably like 25 minutes driving. And usually it's pretty windy and the tide is low, so it's like perfect conditions to kite surf.
Yeah, we don't want to do it, Cindy. You and I don't want to do this. Trust me, it's pretty extreme. I've never done it, but I've seen enough time on television. I've seen it down at the beach myself, and yeah, it's pretty extreme. So
I would face plant and be dead.
well, at least it's on water instead of land, but it's still going to hurt a little bit. And
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, but it's one of those things. Yeah, you got to be young to do that. So that counts us out. But Cindy, you go ahead. I know you have some questions for Isabella, and you were off last week, so I'll let you start off things first.
What are you most excited about for 2026?
Honestly, a little bit about everything, but just to see myself being again biggest in the biggest platform and like in the LPGA, just like 2 years ago or like last year, I guess, when I was in the LPGA again. That I mean, I was living a dream, but inside I was kind of like still very immature. Everything about me was a chaos, and right now, like I knew that whatever I was doing wasn't working. So I kind of shifted everything. I have such an amazing teamwork right now that I fully trust them. So I'm just like very intrigued. I'm very excited to see Isabella performing on the biggest stage. So definitely my golf game is great, but like my personality, my mentality has shifted into a very good mind. So I'm just really excited for that.
So you played on the LPGA Tour last year?
Yeah, I did. So I was in Epson Tour 2 years ago. I got my car through Q Series, so I have to go all the way from like first stage, which was like such a like marathon. It's such a big thing. Kind of it drains you in so many levels, but that's what Q School is made for. So I got my Epson Tour card, and then I played 2 years ago, and it was like such a like new thing coming from college to like professional golf. So I was in Epson Tour, and then the last 5 weeks, my mom actually caddied for me, and we won the Tuscaloosa tournament, and it was so special. So then I finished, I think in ninth or eighth, I think ninth place of the race to the card. So that's how I got my card. And then last year I played full season on the LPGA. I played all of the majors. I think the only one I missed was British Open because I was kind of injured of my wrist, but it was such a big experience, and I learned so much about myself. But I ended up losing my card, and then I came back to the Epson Tour, and I think it's probably one of the biggest things that has happened to me. Just kind of like living a dream of being on the LPGA, and kind of like knowing that you have everything, but if you don't really know yourself that well, like I mean, you're gonna fall down, and everybody knows how to hit the golf ball out there. It's just kind of like how like whoever handles themselves better, whoever knows themselves better is gonna get to the top. So that's something I've learned, and yeah. So I'm back on tour, and I'm just really excited.
So I played myself as well, and I lost my card. And it's not that you're a failure. It's what do you need to learn about yourself? What lessons in my lesson I took me so I played for 3 years. I lost my card, and then I got married and I had kids. And 25 years later, I played on the Legends Tour. And when I was trying to play again, my husband said, he played on the men's tour for 15 years. He played the Masters 5 times. And he said to me, this has nothing to do with your golf swing. This has everything to do with your head. And I wanted to slap him, but he was so right. So I was willing to look in the mirror and learn a lot about me. And he was so right. So tell our audience what you have learned about you that's going to make you so successful this next year and why you're so excited. Because
Yeah,
I don't think people understand that everybody can hit the ball, but you have to really look in the mirror and learn a lot about yourself.
yeah. Like I think losing your card is for an athlete, like it's kind of like the biggest punch you can ever get in your gut. It's just because you think that you're having everything, and out of sudden like you're going down again. But I always say that you have to hit the ground at some point in your life to know what it is to like lose everything, and then you start appreciating everything you have. And something that I've learned is to live my life in a very humble way. Like for example, like last year I was living in Palm Beach Gardens. Like I was having like a good place to live. I was having my trainer there, golf courts and everything, but I was so empty inside. I miss my family. I miss my Mexican food. I miss my mom cooking. I miss fighting with my sister. I miss my bed. all of these little things that at the end make such a big thing and such a big change. And I actually switched golf coach last year on the Arkansas event, on the Walmart event. And out of sudden, the first thing, he didn't like do anything technical to my swing because like, we were kind of like mid-season in. But the first thing he asked me was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, like I was kind of like a chaos from every aspect you looked at it. And on social media you couldn't tell because I was like kind of just going around, but inside, and the people that knew me, they knew I was a train wreck. I was like kind of like everywhere. I didn't have an order in everything I do. So on the off season, I mean, I was gonna play the Epson Tour, but I was like, I need to treat this like if it was the LPGA, and I'm gonna have like a good schedule. I'm gonna like treat it just as it was any major, like. And so I kind of learned that, and also just treat myself and be gentle to myself, because like traveling so much on tour, it drains you out so much. And if you don't have a place where you can disconnect, and if you don't have that person or like your tribe, your crib, like somewhere you can like breathe and be like, okay, I'm not a golfer anymore. It's gonna like drain you out at some point. So definitely, I end up moving back to Mexico, which I'm very close to my parents' house, and that definitely makes such a big change. Like, yeah, it may be more expensive to fly from Mexico, but at the end, I have everything I need here. It might not work for the best players in the world, but it works for me. And at the end of the day, if I was traveling 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row and I came here, at least I knew that I was going to see my grandparents. I could see my sister and stuff. So that really had a huge impact on me. And I knew that about myself. I learned it throughout the way. And I think the last thing I learned from like losing my card and just kind of like moving forward was like, I I kind of like started asking so many questions to myself, like, hey, like when you're under pressure, like how are you feeling? Like, yeah, your heart rhythm goes up, but like, do you tend to like speak faster? Do you tend to like, I don't know, walk faster? Okay. When you are playing in a major, like you want to have so many people around you, and sometimes you only need one person around you, like your mom, your dad, your sister, your boyfriend, whatever it is. So definitely, like I started asking questions to myself, and then I started to journal. I started to just like write so much about my day, good days, bad days. And at the end, it's just such a positive feedback at the end of the day. Because I mean, I can sit down today and look like last year and sit down and be like, hey, like I've come such a long way. And
Mhm.
sometimes you're just in this like loophole that you don't want to see things, and you're like, things are not going my way, and it's so easy to get into that hole. We have to look at the bigger perspective. And something I always said is like, I have learned how to fall in love with the process instead of like the goal, which the ending goal is not really gaining my LPG tour card. The bigger goal is playing the Olympics, winning majors, being the best player out there in the possible can. And so at the end of the day, like gaining my card was going to happen. We didn't know if it was going to be this year, next year, whatever, but I was just trying to prepare myself the best possible way, to get to that little step to get to my bigger goals.
Awesome. Awesome. Ted, we're going to let you talk now.
Oh, well, that's okay. I was enjoying the listening. So, so let me ask you, Isabella, just going back to sort of off of what you just talked about in that, because you're exactly right. You know, we get the pleasure, Cindy and I, of talking with a lot of other young ladies like yourself from Epson and some from the LPGA. We've had the pleasure of speaking with some of the legends of the game, like Kathy Whitworth, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but who was a real pioneer as well in this game. And they all kind of saying the same thing in the sense that, you know, you're not where you are just because you're a good ball striker. You have to be, there has to be more to that, because you're not going to get on the pro level if you can't hit a golf ball, but you're not going to stay there if you can't figure out how to navigate, not just around the course, but how to navigate the whole process. So again, that's why, you know, when you said it's very important to focus on the process and not so much on the end result. And the results will happen, obviously, if you're doing the steps properly. And you're going to stumble and you're going to trip. And I found it really interesting because I thought about this when you said a few moments ago, and you said how you'd already been out on tour but I sense from your comments that you weren't quite ready yet. You know, you had a good game, but you weren't quite emotionally, maybe mentally ready to be there. And the fact that you recognized that, it wasn't just, well, you know, I didn't make it and whatever, and you got really down on yourself. You took that as a learning process. So what are you going to take next year from what you learned a couple of years ago, or last year particularly, being on the LPGA? So what are you going to take? What knowledge are you now going to take that's going to help you be more successful this coming year in 2026?
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's so many things, but definitely I'm gonna keep being myself, like having my essence and not change, because as a rookie, or if you have been on the LPGA for not too long, it's very easy to compare yourself to other players. It's very easy to compare yourself in a personal level, in a technical level. So kind of knowing that I always love to admire others, and that's such a big thing. Like I know everybody has their own path and they have to go through every single thing, and everybody's different, but at the end I'm gonna compare myself to the Isabella I was the day before and the year before. And I think something I will do for sure is just keeping 100% communication with my team, just being very honest with my coach, and not really trying to be perfect out there, because I feel so many players, including myself, like when you're hitting on a, you arrive to every tournament on a Sunday or a Monday, and your swing might not come the way you want it. And instead of hitting a draw, you hit a fade, and you come on a Thursday, and you're like, oh my, I'm hitting a fade. But you have to learn how to live with that. It's like, it's not going to kill you. Just play with it. And then when the tournament is done, you fix it. It's fine. So just knowing that I'm not reaching perfection, I'm not going to look for perfection, but I'm going to look for consistency.
Mhm.
So if I'm being consistent with my emotions, if I'm being consistent in my routine, such as little things as, hey, I'm eating well, I'm resting well, I'm working out well, I'm treating myself well, and I'm disconnecting well, then everything at the end is gonna flow. And that's what I want for myself. I want every week for me to be able to enjoy regardless of the result, but knowing that the process was there, it was present, it was consistent. And if you have consistencies throughout the way and throughout the season, then results will come eventually. So
Yeah, no, a great answer. I just realized listening to that answer how dumb I was when I was 24. I wish I was as smart as she was. You know? I mean, seriously. I mean, you know, you articulate yourself very, very well. And I'm just teasing, of course, but well, actually I'm not, but anyways, that's another story. But you know, what I find that's really, really interesting and about where you are, and I want to ask you this question because I think it's important for you to further articulate this. There are a lot of young women out there in the world who are floundering, who don't have a lot of confidence, and who have not sort of found themselves. One of the things as a tour player, and especially a golf tour player, you have to have a lot of discipline in your life, not just out in the golf course, but everything else in that. What advice would you give a young girl, whether she ever wanted to play golf or not, just from what you've learned, both from your college experience and then now as life on tour? What have you learned that's helped keep you grounded and more disciplined in your everyday life that maybe some other young lady that could be tuning into the show, even if she doesn't give a rat's behind about golf, maybe that she could take away from your words?
yeah, I mean, definitely, I always said to never stop dreaming. I think everything starts with a dream, and that's what keeps you grounded. But I always say, I have the analogy that you are this car. Like imagine a Formula One car, and what keeps you going every single day, it's having those little, like, you starting to build that process. Like, look, I didn't come from like a very rich family. I didn't come, like, nothing was handed to me in a golden platter. I mean, even if I'm being completely honest, like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, middle of the season, like I was struggling to pay my Airbnbs and my hotels. Like I wasn't, like, I was struggling financially, and I knew that if I work hard, eventually results will come. And there, and my dad and my mom always taught us that we have to fight hard for our goals. Like nothing is going to be easy. And I always said, because I'm Catholic, but I always said that God's not going to put you anything you can handle. You have to like keep going. You have to know that what your goal is. But the most important thing is don't forget to have fun, because sometimes you get into this loophole of like doing things, and I call it airplane mode. It's kind of like you do this and you that, but you lose kind of like the perspective, you lose the side of it, and you're like, oh, because everybody's eating well, I have to eat well. Because everybody's working out, I have to work out. But it's like, why do I want to do things for what, for who am I doing this? Like, start asking the questions, why, who, like all of these things. And the more you ask yourself, the more you will get to know yourself. Because I mean, I have a little example, but I have teammates in college that they wanted to pursue professional golf, and then they finished college, and they're like, "Hey, guess what? I don't want to do that. I want to coach college girls. I want to teach," and it's completely fine. But at the end, that's the questions you have to ask yourself, because we're always changing, we're always evolving. So getting to know yourself and knowing that as females, we have such a strength, like in strength power, and we're so like hardworking, that if you just have like that little path, then everything will come in the way. And just like stick to resilience and the discipline you talked about. It's kind of like putting just little stones every day. Like, you have to build that discipline. You're not expected to go from 0 to 100 in a day. Like, it's kind of like a daily work. And something I work with my psychologist, which is really interesting, is for something to become a part of your routine, it has to be at least 3 to 4 months. So if you let's say, I want to lose weight, and you are like a month, you have to stick to it until you reach that 3 month period, and then that's actually when it becomes a routine and it becomes a habit. If it's less than 3 months, then it's not really a habit. It's kind of like you're just doing it. And it's really easy to give up. So as for your dream, discipline, it builds up every day with making your bed in the morning, with like kind of like knowing how you want to look, with like going to hit balls or whatever your dream is. Like, it starts with the little things, and if you cannot do the little things, then you have to like start asking, like, hey, is this what I really want? So
Yeah, that's
I
yeah.
have
well
a
said.
question.
Yeah, go ahead, Cindy.
So you say your team. I want to know, who do you work with? I don't want names, but you said my psychologist. So you have a coach for your swing.
Yeah. So I have my psychologist. It's really interesting because he's a psychologist, but he works more into like the brain cells and everything that happens. Like, I go see him, and let's say I go to Trackman, and then he connects like this. It's like, imagine you go to the doctor and put like the little. It's not, what's the test? It's like a test. Like, they connect like this monitor in your brain. So let's say he starts like asking me questions like, "Hey, can you hit like a 65-yard shot?" And I hit it, and then he starts seeing some irregularities in my brain. So he's more of like a neuro doctor and psychologist. So he's definitely part of my team. I have a swing coach. I have my physical trainer, like physio and stuff. And then my sister works with me, like she's my right hand. And I have an agent. So that's all my team.
Wow.
Is your agent from Mexico?
Yes, he's from Mexico.
And is he a sports agent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I want to know about the neuro thing that he's putting on while you're hitting shots. Whoop, where'd you go?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, there you
Sorry.
Yeah. The neuro thing that he's putting on your head while you're doing TrackMan. You don't know what it is?
It's called in Spanish is encefalograma, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just like imagine when you're getting your heart check, and they do like a cardio something. Like, it's kind of like that test. And it shows, it's like an encephalogram. That's how it's called, like the test. So he does all of this
Spanish?
He's from Chile, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from Chile.
What's his
So
name?
his name is Eugenio Lizama.
Spell it.
Eugenio is like Eugenio, so EU, yeah, Genio, and then the last name is Lizama, so Lizama.
Eugenio Lozama.
Yes.
Okay. Hey,
Cool. Because I did a thing in Phoenix where I put a thing on my head and I had to look at words across a screen, and it would show me my subconscious mind where I was having issues with different words like trophy, money, all this stuff. And they came back with a map of my brain and said, Cindy, you don't believe you deserve to win. I go, what? And so they gave me exercises that I could do. And I ended up finishing second on the Legends Tour money list the next year. So it helped me because it was like, your brain is screwing you up. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm having a call with them at noon today because it's such a big deal. And I want to help people.
Yeah, for sure. Something like I've noticed so much is that as a rookie player in whatever tour you're on, sometimes you put so much pressure on yourself because at the end, like you're not out there to play for money. Like, yeah, that's the prize, but it's like
Right.
for me, I'm playing for that rush and adrenaline and the competition and like just being able to step it out every single week and playing with the best players in the world. Like that's what gets me going. The
Right.
competition, like that's what gets me going, right? So
Right.
with Eugenio, like he did that test, but I was there for almost 3 hours, and where he kind of like he assessed everything, kind of like how my eyes are working, how do I like focus and not focus, how to like everything. So after 3 hours, like for like he named this little example, which is so interesting because I personally hate driving on the road. Like on a highway, if I drive more than an hour, I will fall asleep. But I didn't know that I was falling asleep because my brain didn't know how to focus, how to stay focused. So he did that test, and it kind of like the results came in, and it said that after 15 seconds or 16 seconds, my brain will shut down because I haven't trained my brain to stay focused for like a long period of time. And that could be such as like, hey, focus on that card plate and just focus there, or like sing, I don't know. So
Wow.
this year I've been working a lot on like knowing how to like keep my brain focused, how to like teach him how to like connect and disconnect. Because your brain, of course, cannot be focused for like a 4.5 hour run on the golf course.
No,
But
no.
when you
Turn it
need
on, turn it off.
exactly. So, but I have to tell my brain how to do things. My brain is not going to tell me what to do. Like I have to teach him. So, that's something I have been working on this year too.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody that's been on the show yet talk about that. I mean, I know you talked about some things, and I'm not saying that facetiously. I'm just saying that most of the other players will talk about parts of their game and things like that. But that's really deep, and that's very, I think, observant of you to recognize the importance of how your brain works and how it can either help or hinder you if it's not focused in the right areas. And just for personal use or for personal reasons, what kind of car do you drive? Just in case I'm on the highway following you, I want to make sure I avoid you. Just in case I don't want to.
Stop it, Ted. Stop it.
No, well,
I don't
actually,
want to pass out. And
actually, I don't have a known car just because of that. Like I'm a car. I like yeah. So
yeah,
Somebody drives her.
yeah.
yep. Or I have to borrow my mom's or my dad's, and like I have to beg them to.
Yeah. Okay,
Hmm.
so I want to jump in here real quick because we got to wrap up here in a moment. But I want to ask you two things. Part of the same question. So, why golf? What was it about golf that you said, okay, this is something I want to do? Obviously, you went on to play for Oklahoma State, but also, as I read out earlier, you also would have liked to have been a professional singer. So, what I want to know is why golf, and why not pursue a singing career?
Yeah, so I started when I was 4 years old, and I came from a very humble golf course and environment. It was a 9-hole golf course. They asked what kind of grass was it. I was like, I don't know, it's green and I can hit it from I don't really know. I had the beach right there. So it kind of like made me connect with like kind of nature wide in a deep point. But also when I grab a golf club when I was 4 years old, I was actually imitating everybody's swing, and I was like very visual. So I reached a point where my dad was like, okay, I cannot teach you. I don't want to be in that position. So I had my first instructor, my first swing coach. So he teach me, and I was like, I was enjoying so much knowing that the more I practiced, the better I got. So that feeling since I was little, like I was so like drawn into that. And also since I was little, like I always been so different. Like my mom has told me that I'm kind of like a free soul. Like I'm a little spark going there and going here. But when I was actually 5, my mom has this paper, but I wrote in school, like they had this task of like the typical thing, like, hey, what do you do? What do you want to do when you grow older? And everybody was like, hey, I want to be a nurse, an astronaut, whatever. And I want to go to the Olympics. And golf wasn't even an Olympic sport at that time. And I said, I want to play for Nike. I want to be on the Olympics. I want to win a major championship. I knew all of these things it's like, how does a 5-year-old that it's like their only job is to go to parties and have fun, knows all of these things? So I was kind of like built a little bit different, but I had such a fun childhood that when I related to my have fun instead of going to parties, my have fun was driving the golf cart, climbing up trees, like all of these little things. So I just fell in love with golf so much. And knowing, I mean, and I was a very athletic girl. Like I used to play soccer. I ended up breaking my hand twice. Like I had surgery, all of these things. But just golf kind of took that part of my heart that just gets me to connect so much. And the more I get to know golf and the more relationship we had with each other, the more I know that it teaches me something every single day, not even in a golf aspect for my life. And that's the cool thing about golf. It teaches you about yourself, about values in a long way. So that's what I into singing. I mean, I love singing and I sing everywhere, no matter if I have a song or not. That's a part of me, but golf is just, it doesn't make me who I am. It's just a tiny part of me, but we have such a strong relationship right now, and I'm just enjoying it so much.
Let me ask you something real quick, and then Cindy, I'll let you have an opportunity if you want to ask her another question before we wrap up. Do you, because you just mentioned that you enjoy singing in that as well, when you're out walking the golf course, do you sometimes sing a song in your head as a distraction?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my sister got it for me this year, and she's sitting right next to me right there. She will shut me up so many times because I mean, even like from the movie Wicked, and like sometimes it's just a song stuck in my head, and I'll be like, nah, 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 and she's like, shut up. Like, I heard it already for like 3.5 hours, and I'm like, well, it's kind of stuck in my head, or yeah, but actually, in the golf course, when I arrive to my putting, like short game putting, the more disconnect I am, the better result I get. So that could be sometimes even if I get a little bit tense and I don't sing or I don't like kind of pay attention to like the trees or the air or the birds, my sister will start actually like sing something. So that's something I do.
So it helps as a distraction really from nerves.
Oh yeah.
And stuff. That's interesting. Cindy, go ahead real quick and then we got to wrap up.
You're a total blessing.
Yeah, really.
You're going to do amazing. You keep listening to your guy from Chile, and you keep having fun, and you keep singing, and tell your sister to zip it.
Thank you. She's my best friend, but yeah, we have such a strong relationship, and yeah, so.
Well, very good.
That's all I got. You're going to have a ball.
Well,
you just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Isabella, and good luck on 2026. I hope you'll stay connected and come back on our show when you've won your first event out of the LPGA next year. We look forward to watching you, and I think you'll be a breath of fresh air for the LPGA Tour. Sing some songs while you're out there, win some tournaments, but just go out and have fun. You've got, as Cindy said, you're a breath of fresh air. So thank you very much for joining us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, Cindy and I've got a few more things that we're going to talk about here in just a moment. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Karen Jansen, LPGA Master Teaching Professional and National Academy of Sports Medicine Certified Personal Trainer, and I'm very excited to share with you my Cardio Golf online subscription. Professional golfers know the importance of athletic development for golf. As a recreational golfer, You might not have the time to train like an elite athlete, but by simply adding a few golf-specific exercises and swing drills into your daily routine, you can dramatically improve your game, and you can do it at home with cardio golf. I have various pieces of equipment to help you train indoors, away from the golf course, like the Cardio Golf Shorty Club. This club is short so that you can swing inside. You're not going to hit the ceilings or the walls. The Cardio Golf Slope. This is great to simulate an uphill and a downhill lie. You know, the ones that you get on the golf course, but there's nowhere ever to practice. We also use this as a fitness step. I also have various pieces of equipment from Golf Gym, like the Power Ball and the Power Bands, to help you improve your strength and flexibility. Join me every week as I take you through workouts that are going to help you shape your swing and trim your score. Start a free trial today. Go to cardiogolf.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining us this morning on the Women of Golf. We just had a great conversation, didn't we, Cindy, with Isabella Fierro, the latest graduate from the Epson Tour. Actually, I didn't mention this when we were on, but she finished in 12th place for the race for the card, so she earns her LPGA card. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was told last week by the guest that the top 10 get full status, and then 10 to 15, because the top 15 get their LPGA card. But I think the next 5, so 10 to 5 or 11 to 5, whatever, or 15 rather, to get conditional status. So they don't get the full status the same as the top 10, my understanding. So I could have that wrong, but
She may not get to play that much then.
I think she will. I could be wrong, but I thought that's what somebody had told me. It was just the top 10 that get the full ride, and then the others get some conditional or something along that lines. But either way, she's going to do really well. Great personality, and you guys definitely want to check out that. So we've only got a few minutes left, so I wanted to give, because people obviously noticed you weren't here last week, and you were doing something very exciting up in Buffalo. So tell us a little bit about that, what you were doing, and why you were doing it.
We had our first ever Pursue Your It Youth Leadership Summit at the Bills Stadium, where we invited 150 high school kids to come to the stadium. And I've had a nonprofit for about 10 years. We had them all take personality assessments, a DISC assessment, where they would find out whether they're a high D, I, S, or C. Most people that work in business have taken a personality assessment. So a D is a competitive control freak like me. An I is a happy, fun-loving party animal. An S is a steady, slow person that likes to read directions. And a C is an analytical person that typically an accountant, an engineer type person. Once they took the assessment, they all had to wear wristbands with the color. And then we broke them up into groups and tribes. There were 8 different tribes. And then they did breakout sessions where they had to work as a team together to do self-awareness, self-management, communication, and decision-making skills. 4 different breakout sessions, one of which was a stadium tour of the Bills Stadium, where they had to listen to the tour guide and fill out forms and questionnaires. And each tribe had beads that they wanted to get extra beads if they could communicate well, and they could have beads taken away from them if they didn't communicate well, or if somebody was like acting up and being a jerk. And then there was a prize, team prize at the end of the day, where they got some an Amazon gift card. And at lunch, we had a guest speaker, which was Jordan Poyer, who just got signed that morning to be a full-time player. So he used to play for the Bills. Then he went to Miami and played for 1 year. And then they signed him to be a mentor and on the practice squad. And that morning, they signed him to be a full-time player on the Bills, which was great. So the whole day was totally amazing. The kids got hats from New Era Cap with our logo on them. They all got t-shirts. They got a booklet. They got everything. They had a great, great time. So we're going to do it every year. And then we're going to follow up with an online course and stuff.
Well, I think that's
From a bunch of
fantastic.
different schools. Yeah, a bunch of different schools. So it was
Yeah,
great.
and I was just about to say that, if you kind of rotate around and get some other schools involved as well, I think that's a great opportunity. I think anytime, whether you're an athlete, or, professional like yourself, or just a good entrepreneur or business person, I think it's very good to give back to your community. And I think what you're doing, especially at that age, they're getting ready to hit a plateau in their life. I mean, they've already up to high school now, but they're going to be going to college, many of them, hopefully, and or moving on to the next phase of their life. And it's very important to have some positive engagement with business leaders, and having somebody from the Bills come out and do a talk like that gives them inspiration and hope that their dreams can be realized. Well, just as Isabella was talking about, you have to start with a dream. And, sometimes it's just a matter of something that somebody says at a function, an event like you hosted, can be just enough to give them that spark to want to pursue that dream. So I think kudos to you and all of those involved.
What's funny is we had a guy from the Golf Channel come and film the whole thing, and I brought my daughter up from Orlando, and Kelly went to Silver Creek School, and we started the day with a video that she produced with Jimmy Roberts at the Olympics, and the video was called "What Would You Do for a Dream?" So we started the whole day. I pressed the button and played this 1.5-minute video of what would you be willing to do for a dream, and they had no idea. And I said, oh, by the way, our daughter Kelly, who went to Silver Creek and was a cheerleader and used to do the choreographing with the music and stuff, produced that video. And how many of you kids would think, oh, I could be Jimmy Roberts' primetime producer for 4 Olympics?
Right.
Probably not. Kelly, raise your hand. So they were like, oh wow, could I do that? You probably wouldn't dream that big. So how many of you in here have a dream? And some of them, and one of the kids in the front row said, well, I want to be a football player. Oh, really? What kind of, what position? Oh, he said safety. I go, what's that mean? Well, what's Jordan Poyer play? Oh, he's a safety. And then he had no idea Jordan Poyer was going to be coming in to speak. And so it's like, it was such a perfect day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like your eyes bulge out and it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it was great. Just great.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at is, I think it's so important that, we're able to do things like that. And you and Alan have done so much to give back to your community. I mean, you love your community, and I know you guys both travel a lot over the years with different things, not just playing on tour, but doing other functions, corporate events and things like that. And one of the other things that you guys are very well known for, and you're going to be coming up with, again, another round in 2026, and that is your boot camps. So give us a little bit of insight on that for those that might be interested, and the website that they can go to get more information and maybe sign up for the boot camp. So give us the scoop.
So if you want to get better and you want, if you're dedicated and committed to get better, we go to Orlando to Stony Brook West, and we teach you in the morning, and we have lunch, and then we play typically 18 holes if we have time in the afternoon every day. And you can go to cindymillerinc.com and scroll to golf and boot camp and get all the scoop. If you want to go to boot camp, we do January, February, March, and April, because we live in Buffalo and we want to get out of here at those months. So boot camp is every year, January, February, March, and April. And we'd love to have you come to boot camp. It's 4 to 1. Alan and I sit there and abuse you. And again, we teach you in the morning, have lunch, and play golf every afternoon. cindymillerinc.com.
Perfect. And also, you can see in the background, Take Another Shot, her book that was just released this year. They can also go to your website to get more information about that as well, correct?
Yep.
Perfect. Cindy Miller, cindymillerinc.com is the website. Go and check it out. Make sure you sign up for her boot camp. Her and Alan will definitely treat you well, and you'll have a good time as well. And you'll learn something. That's the main thing. So on that note, once again, thanks to Isabella Fierro for joining us this morning as our latest LPGA Tour player. Thank you, Isabella. And again, good luck for the season. And don't forget to go to cindymillerinc.com and sign up for Cindy's boot camp, and also get the information so you can get a copy of her book, Take Another Shot. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time on the Women of Golf. God bless everybody.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed listening to this week's Women of Golf show. Ted and Cindy wish to thank this week's special guests. Remember to join them every Tuesday from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, here on the iGolf Sports Network, or on any of these social media platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, CastBox, TalkStream Live, and of course Spotify. To get updates on the show, you can follow the Women of Golf's Facebook page at www.facebook.com/womenofgolf. This has been a production of the iGolf Sports Network.